Hey guys, hey, welcome. As you can see, the first thing you noticed on this episode is I went with a new look. I decided, well, my gosh, we're going to be in Colorado, going to be a lot of ticks, gonna have to check my head all the time. This would be the quickest and easiest solution. So I decided just for a little while, maybe forever, since I am getting a little thin on the top, to go ahead and start shaving my head for the summer. So I hope you guys can tolerate it. And I had several inspirations. I mean, there's a lot of incredibly handsome, very handsome, bald-headed men in the world today, and there we go. I just decided that's what I was going to do. Okay, so enough with that. Let's go on with some of the hacks that nomads will do. Now, these aren't really earth-shattering hacks, but maybe something that when you go, oh yeah, well, of course, but you might not have thought about it as an obvious thing. And the first one, and I'm going to save kind of the most interesting one till last, so hang in there. But the first one is one that we just kind of take for granted, and that would be, believe it or not, a small hand spade. Just something like this size here. You don't need a big shovel, but this is more practical. It's a lot more convenient than a large shovel, and it is a lot easier to use for multiple reasons than a little hand spade. Shovels can, well, first of all, we have used the shovels for many things. One of the main things is we were buried up to our axles in sand. So if you're ever stuck in your car or your van, probably not an RV, but if you've got a smaller vehicle and you just get stuck, sometimes the easiest solution is just to dig yourself out. Try doing that with a little hand spade sometime. It's not going to work. The other thing about we use this for is shoveling hot coals. So I may decide if I have a cast iron pot or if I want to use these hot coals for something to go into the fire and shovel them to a different location. Also, just if you're leaving a site and you're supposed to leave the campfire cold, it's a lot easier when you pour water on it to shovel it and stir the ashes with something like this. So very, very, very practical. Okay, so let's go on with the next one. Now, the next one is something that is totally personal preference. And these are going to be the LED lights that plug into a USB. And they're the rope lights. And a lot of people use them because they can do multiple effects and things like that. But let me tell you why we have them, and we have two sets. We have other brighter lights and things like that. However, the first one goes on the outside of the van when we park and we set up, and we put this outside, and it serves two functions. People recognize this after a while. If we're camping for like a week or two, someone may come back in and go, oh, you guys are still here. Hey, how's it going? So it's a great way for people to recognize you. But the other thing about having lights on top is that if you're parked into an area, let's say there's about 30 yards before you get to that individual campsite, well, at night someone may be not knowing that anyone's there, and they're going to drive in to your turnaround and you're there. They realize, oh my gosh, there's a van or a car there, and then they hit you with the lights and they're driving by slowly and you wake up, you don't know who it is. So having lights on your vehicle kind of lets people know where you're at night, and it helps kind of avoid those situations where somebody thinks that campsite may be vacant. So it gives people a heads up. So that's the number one reason that we really like using these lights, besides they're festive and it's kind of fun. The second reason is we use them on the inside of the van. And the reason we use them on the inside of the van is pretty simple. It's because we primarily use them at night. Just for general use, we kind of keep a blue light on or a green light or a white light. But when we go to bed, we switch it to a very dim light red. And that serves a couple functions. One is that it's kind of a stealthy thing. If you have that on and you have little cracks in your windows or your curtains open a little bit, people really don't even know that you have a light on, but you can still see to do basic things. And the other reason red is nice is it doesn't kill your night vision. So if you are going to go outside, look at the stars or something's happening in the darkness and you just want to take a quick peek, your eyes are not going to be you're not going to have to worry about your night vision. So red is a really nice color to have inside the van and for stealth reasons. And these types of lights not only change different colors and effects, but they go bright to dim also, so you can regulate all of that. And of course you use them for festive things if you want, just to kind of have some great music going with lights flashing, whatever. That's kind of a cool thing also. So they don't draw hardly anything off your battery. And if you don't have a place to plug it in, you can always get one of the power banks, that you can charge up and plug a USB in. And these rope lights work just fine on those little power banks. Okay, I'll put a link. By the way, I'm going to be putting a link to a lot of these things below. But if you don't have a power bank, go to Best Buys or whatever and get one. Or I'll put a link to the one that I have in the description below. Also, a couple of the other products I will too. Not the hand spade. You can pick that up at Home Depot or someplace like that. Okay, that's 2. Let's go to the number 3. Yeah, 3. Now the third one is really an important one, and that is simply because for some of you or people who don't have an RV, you poop in a bucket or poop in a plastic bag and you wrap it all up and all of that. So, and then you put it in a plastic bag or something, and then after 4 or 5 days or 2 weeks, whenever, you go and dump them in a dumpster. The problem with that is that if you ever have taken a trip to a national park area or recreation area, they have really strict laws, especially on if you do canoeing or kayaking or rafting. All of those guide services have to have a way that you can dispose and carry out your solid waste. And one of the things you need is something that is going to be leak proof and also odor proof, and it has some kind of a decay catalyst in it, some kind of a powder or something that's going to help lower the not only the odor but convert your waste into something that is less damaging to the environment. So you've got to have something like that. We've been to places where there's little 6 campsites and that's it. No toilets, no water. There's nothing but just a circle with 6 tables and pull-offs, and you can't camp there. You go set up, and if the ranger comes by and you just have a tent and you have no National Park Service approved waste disposal system, they could ask you to leave. So what do? Well, you get one of these. It's called a WAG bag. Reliant makes some. Several companies do. Probably the best one I have found, I'll put a link down below for that too. And it's a double bag system with a powder in it, which is the catalyst that will break down your waste. And it's got a pretty heavy duty, maybe 2 mil thick, 3 mil thick, maybe at the most, Ziploc bag that's going to control the odors. But then on the inside, sewn into the bag, is a larger bag. So yeah, if you've got a poop bucket or something, you can wrap this up in it, and it's good for 2 or 3 or 4 uses, depending on how you go. And inside here is a kind of a chemical that will dissolve. I'm melting. It'll dissolve your solid waste. They say it controls odors too, but the reports I've seen and what I found is it really doesn't. Okay, so, and then when you're done using it all there temporarily here, you can open it back up. But when you're really done, all you do is you just roll it tight up in there, zip it up, and then you are good to go. Here's the thing, even if you don't plan on using these, buy a pack of 6 of them. They come in packs of 6. Now, Walmart may have them also, but it's hit and miss. Sometimes they have them and sometimes they don't. but you want to make sure you get it with the gel or the powder inside that to comply. So if you don't ever use it, that's fine, but you should have, or we carry them with us because, you know, even if we don't plan on using it in regular bags, if the NPS or the National Park Service stops by and says, you can't park here, what do you have for waste disposal? You can pull them out and say, oh, we're completely equipped. And 95% of the times that I have been approached and I have checked, this is absolutely allowable and they won't kick you out. So plan ahead for a couple bags, even if you don't use them. It sure is a shame to be kicked out of a national park area or recreation area if you don't have something like this. So highly recommended. There's a link below for wag bags. Check it out. And let me put this down. And then finally, if you live in a car or you live in a van and you do plastic bags or even these wag bags and you're staying somewhere for 5 or 6 days or longer, it just seems like nothing is going to completely eliminate the odors. But one of the things people do is they'll take wag bags or they'll double or triple bag their waste and then put it in another garbage bag. The only problem is all of these plastic bags are like 0.85 mil thick. They're very, very thin, and the odors go right through them. And even the average trash bag, I think, is like less than 1 mil. So one of the things that I found to put a lot of the waste in after you wrap it up in all of those bags and all of that, or even the wag bag, is to put it in a thicker bag. And it dawned on me one day, it's like, well, trash compactor bags can be up to like 3 mil or 4 mil thick. And that would be the last one of my 4 hacks. These are incredibly thick. And if you, because they're trash compactor bags, they're designed to be, you know, not fall apart in the electric compactor in the kitchen, which crushes the garbage. They're pretty affordable. I'll put a link below. Again, you can go to Walmart's and get them, but again, it's hit and miss on whether you're going to find them or not. But check those out first if you don't want to get all of this stuff, or if you're not shopping regularly on Amazon. But these are great. So not only will it handle your wag bags and fit those in there, but if you know, your dinner scrapes and all of that, it is not bear proof. It is not chipmunk or mouse proof. Nothing is. Those critters can smell anything. So if you've got something like this, what we usually do is just put it on top of the van at night, or, you know, somewhere where the critters usually can't get at it. I still don't put it inside because nothing is 100% odor proof, but man, it's 100 times better if you use a wag bag or even triple wrap your waste and then you put it in here and tie it. I can tell you it is so much better than your traditional cheap garbage bags. So anyway, those are the 4 hacks that I think right now are really good ones to keep in mind if you're getting ready to go on the road for the summer, for a summer trip. They're all affordable. The lights are fun to have. They don't burn out your batteries on your USB if you have a solar generator or something like that. It's a great, they draw very little power, and they're kind of fun too. So as always, if you like this video, please share it. Please give us a thumbs up, because that really does tell YouTube that, you know, our videos are well received. And of course, subscribe if you haven't subscribed before. Is anything else? No, oh, of course, write some comments below, and that would be fantastic. We certainly would appreciate it. Until then, guys, we'll see you down the road.